Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your old pal CHH. We're back yet again with another review. This comes from the good folks over at Second Sight Films. They are a world-class organization, quite frankly. Their physical media releases are second to none, and I have been talking about Scream Factory trying to tap into that 2000s horror world. During this time, there was this, in my opinion, this renaissance of dark, realism, intense movies that are dealing with subject matter that is a whole genre that's, quite frankly, I think missing today. And, during this time, there were the big, serial killer movies. There was the Dahmer movies, which was really good from like 2002, I think. They were doing Ed Gein films. There was this really dark era of movies that were dealing with like real life serial killer type stuff. Evil, dark, bleak movies. It was incredible. I loved that era of movies. I think it will get its audience soon. And, while I've been begging Scream Factory to get into the title market of movies like this, Second Sight said, hey, Christian, we heard you. So they just came out with this release for May. This movie, guys, is really good. Now, let me give you just a brief summary about something. So, pre-Katrina, which was 2005, I used to go to my Blockbuster, which was right outside of my subdivision all the time. As a matter of fact, I used to bike there. And I'll never forget around 2002, 2003-ish, I would go to the horror section. My parents would be with me sometimes. We lived in within walking distance to one. And my mom would say, all right, guys, y'all go look around. We're going to find something to watch. I would see this movie called May all the time. And it was the most it was like the most hypnotizing artwork. It's nothing really crazy special. It's just this girl in the front, and she's looking deep into your soul. And something about it always just drugged me right in. Fast forward to watching May around 2007 with my buddies in high school, and we were just looking for a fun horror movie to rent. Because we used to do this. We'd go rent a movie just for fun, hang out, bring some girls over, we'd laugh, have a good time. And I remember watching May, and all my friends said they liked it, and so did I. But watching it again now as an adult hit totally different. May is a really great film. I think it's actually a really, really great film. It's a movie about this girl named May. She's born with a lazy eye, and it gives her a lot of anxiety and problems as a child. And as weird as it sounds, it's something I can relate to. I was born with some nerve damage in my left eye. So my left eye does not open up as wide as my right eye. Maybe some people don't notice, but I've been like that my whole life. So watching it again, I was just like, I relate to her. She had a lazy eye. And, it's something you deal with. And despite the fact that she gets these contacts and things to help her eye, she's just really, really socially awkward. She was bullied as a kid, and then she just grew up really feeling ostracized and different. This character as an adult is just quirky and weird, and despite trying to get these genuine relationships in her life, all of them just go south, and people just think she's weird, bizarre, and she even tries to question her sexuality herself, just in an attempt to almost feel like she can get some kind of companionship. It's a really, really interesting movie that sucks you right in with the performances, the story, and, I thought to myself, is it just me, or is this movie really, really good? Well, with this release, there's a nice booklet we'll take out in a second, and I saw that the reviews for this movie at the time were outstanding. Despite this fact this movie didn't do really great in the box office, it got really great reviews, and as a matter of fact, Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 5 stars, calling it a great horror movie, but something psychologically deep and just really moving. It's a really moving film, and it's got that, during this time, movies had this kind of texture, this bleakness to it. With the way the movies were shot, and there was like kind of muted colors to the movies, there's this bleakness to it that is so defining when you look at the early 2000s horror films, especially the ones that really kind of, not necessarily straight to video, but might have had theatrical releases, died quick deaths, and then were just instantly at Blockbusters, which most people probably only remembered the VHS or DVD releases at Blockbuster at the time, but these movies have that feel that is so identifiable. Go watch movies from that time in that kind of category. They all have this look, and I just love it. Angela Bettis portrayed May, and I don't think anybody else could have done a better job than she did. She is equal parts quirky, weird, but there's something about her, you just feel for her character so much. Also, Anna Faris is in this, and it's great to see her in a role, because most people know her from like the scary movie films and things, and in this movie, she's playing a character but she's playing something really realistic. And it's so great seeing her in this movie. She did such a sensational job. I loved Anna in this movie. The casting was perfect. This movie is really good, and it's something that really kind of gets you to just think about life. You know, I've learned now at 31 years old, even though we get older and we learn how to deal with stuff better, I still think our insecurities are there, and sometimes more present now than they were when we were in our teenage years. Such is life, I guess. All in all, this movie was so good, and I am so glad I got to revisit it. I enjoyed it so much, and there was no better way to revisit it than the second sight release. So let's take a look. This is the limited collector's edition for May, and it is all that and a bag of chips. So it comes in this hard shell box with new commissioned artwork, and I really like it. You know, there's only one negative about this that we'll get to, and it might have been some sort of rights or license problem. But you'll get the hard shell box, and in here you'll get some really cool cards. I used to not really be into these, but sometimes I like flipping through them while I'm watching the movie. And they're really cool, so I like these a lot. But what's really cool is this booklet. Now, don't lie to me. I know some of you physical media collectors out there, you get these chunky boxes, is what we call them, and we all like them. Most of us don't read these. We flip through them, but I gotta say, I just kind of just started glancing through this and was reading it, and it was one of the best, like, essays about this movie ever. All the things I was thinking about while watching this movie, like, is May questioning her sexuality? Is she possibly a lesbian or something, and she hasn't figured it out yet? Or is she just so desperate to have some kind of human connection that she's willing to go to this place, even if she's not physically attracted to a woman? All those questions, they're talked about in this video essay, and it was so well written. I really loved it. So I gotta say, I can't really comment on a lot of the books in the past from releases, but this one was incredible. It talked every question you'll have when you think about watching the movie. This book entertains it. So that book was great. So this is the Blu-ray release. This is a Region B Blu-ray right off the bat, so you need to be region free to watch this. It's one disc. The only problem is the only complaint is there's no reversible art with the original theatrical poster, which is what I really wanted. Unfortunately, we don't get that, so that's kind of a bummer. So, you know, I'm gonna assume that they just couldn't get it. But I will say that, you know, the original artwork that they got for this is sensational. It has that cool 2002 flair, and I really liked it. The picture quality on this was as good as it probably could be. It looked like a good Blu-ray, and quite frankly, that's good enough for this kind of a movie. I'm super happy with that. Not something that needs a 4K, really. You know, from this time period, you know, Blu-ray is perfectly fine. The audio was good on this, and it had a slew of special features. And any kind of question you might have about this movie, the way the movie was made, the director talks all about it. There's great interviews. It is chock full of interviews. It was an incredible release. So, you know, guys, if you are not region free yet, I beg of you, get region free. Because a lot of these movies from this time, which I think are going to get their due, you're going to have to be region free because companies like Second Sight, they're going for it and they're getting these titles. And, you know, if we can dive into this era more, the 2002, 3, 4 kind of movies, I'll be super happy. This May release is a solid 2 thumbs up, perfect 10, well, 9.8 out of 10. If I would have got the original poster art for the reverse sleeve on the slip, then it'd be perfect. But it is as close to a perfect release as I can get for a movie like this, a movie that desperately is looking for a new fan base and will get it, I guarantee you. I loved this film. I cannot stress for you enough to go revisit it if you haven't seen it in a long time, or if you just remember seeing that artwork at the movie theater, or if you remember seeing it at Blockbuster. Now's the time, guys. Go check it out. You can stream it, but if you're not region free, for God's sakes, get region free and then enjoy great releases from across the pond like Second Sight Films. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is your good old pal CHH, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care. A huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, these videos would not be possible. If you want to get early access to all my videos, private live streams, music recordings, music covers, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to all my patrons.